Alright, welcome back to the day 2 for the HTML tutorials. Let's continue from where we left on day 1 on the first session and move forward. So what we did primarily in the day 1 has been that we started to practice by creating simple Notepad documents and saving them as HTML files. We also saw how we could use the different tags like the HTML head, body, the heading tags like from H1 to H6, and the break tags. Yes, we also saw the title tag. And we were able to open them in different browsers and see how they get displayed once we start playing around with this code. What I want to show you now is a better editor for our HTML code than what we have in the Notepad. Now, when we talk about HTML editors, there have been two types of editors primarily. The first type has been the simple HTML editors like this, like a Notepad or a better version of Notepad and so on. Then there have been other editors which are primarily called as what you see is what you see is what you get editors. This is primarily a different type of editors where you are actually able to do everything in a visual way rather than using tags. But I want you to focus on HTML editors first because that will give you a good idea about different tags that we use and what happens when we do this, what happens when we do that, and so on. Once you've done this, and if you are really getting professional into web development or need to go deeper, then you could use what you see is what you get type of editors for later. Okay. So in fact, when you do a Google search on HTML editors, you'll see both of these types. Now, for a simple HTML level editor, what you need to do is use something like a Notepad++. Notepad++ has been something that has been in the market for over a decade or more. Ever since I have started using it way back in the 90s of the HTML codes, I've started seeing one of the good editors has been Notepad++. Now, what you should do is go to the notepad++.org website that you see here and download a free version. There is a free version for the Notepad++ that will give you a good ability to start playing around with. Now, why should I use a different editor than a Notepad? Why do I need this ++ editor? The reason is when you open this, when you install and you open this, it has much more sets of features than a simple text editor, a Notepad. It has a better way of representing and a better way of for you to handle things than a simple editor. Either editors are fine, but you'll see the difference yourself and you can choose. So now let's open the last file that we created using text editor. So we're going to go to our own programs, eLearn, to HTML practice and open the HTML file that we created. So HTML test. Do you see the icons? It is referring to Firefox because that is my default browser on the machine. Now, the same code that we had in a text format, in a Notepad format, is displayed in a different format here. The first thing that is important is it's got line numbers. Second thing is it has got different color representations for the tags. Do you see this? Plus, it will also show you and highlight you what is the opening tag and ending tag. For example, if I'm looking for where did body start from, click on this and you will see automatically this beginning of body getting highlighted. Okay. I'm going to zoom into it so we have a bigger visibility of it. All right. Now, what you see here, you also have the ability to be able to minimize specific sections in it. So you can drill down and say that, you know what, I only want to see the header, not the body. Then you can focus on that section. You want to see only the body portion and not the header. You can focus on that. And then as you go about doing more, you can drill down further. This is a good editor for this purpose. The second one is also that you could run them directly and open the output of these editors on a browser. So if I go to run and say launch in Firefox or IE or Chrome or Safari and so on, you can easily see the display of it on the browser. Okay, so that is the reason. It is starting reasons of why you should use this. Now let's go about using it. It is very easy to use. you will easily be able to pick up the usage of it as you go along. Okay. What I'm going to do is, the first thing is I will save this, save as HTML test3. Okay, and select the type as hypertext markup language. In fact, Notepad++ can be used to use with a lot of other programming languages. We are using it right now just for our HTML purpose. Save it as the test3. Let's change this. So what we have seen so far are these tags. What I intend to show you in this session are more tags, the para tag, bold, italics, and a lot of other things. Okay. What we will do is start playing around with the paragraph tab. Paragraph tab basically gets us to distinguish between the normal tags and the paragraph tag, paragraph text. So let's say I start writing something like, I'm really not concerned of the text that I'm writing, but let's say that this is a new para that I'm trying to put in. Okay? As long as there are no tags, HTML will recognize this as is. Okay. Now, if I run this, what should happen? It should show me this in the specific manner. So I don't want all the headings. I just want, let's say, one heading. All right. I'm just keeping one heading, and I have 3 different lines, and then I have this text out here. So I'm going to run this on, let's say, Firefox. Now, what you see, what happened here? Why didn't, is it because of this? No, it's not because of this. Probably because of this. Let me close the entire Firefox which we had and run this again in Firefox. Where is my code? Where is my text? This is interesting. It is not showing this. The reason is, even though I have this text, it's supposed to be showing this text to me. I don't know why it didn't show. Is it because I didn't use para? I wanted to show the usage of para itself. There you go. See, there was one additional line, and for some reason it got confused. It is not supposed to do that because there is nothing different that I did it. But at least once you follow the protocol, we'll be able to see. Now, what it has done is it has put everything that I put in here out here to display. Did it put everything in one line, or did it put everything in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines? It has put everything in 3 lines. Why did it put it into 3 lines? Number one, the reason being that my browser size is half. So if I maximize it, you will see that the text got wrapped. So it automatically got wrapped and it came into the next line. Okay. For general text that you put, you should use something called as a para. What a para does is it does not give you breaks automatically. So for example, if I have more spaces, or if I intend to put 2 breaks here and so on, it does not give you the ability to do it automatically. But for example, when I put P, tag P stands for a para. Para as in a paragraph in any Word document that you see. Okay. And then we do a quick run. Let's say launch in Firefox. Now it is the same exact content. There is no difference in this display from what we saw earlier. The reason this happens is that para differentiates between 2 different paras. For example, if I copy this and I paste this down, okay, into a different paragraph altogether, okay, and now I save, let's say I run this in Firefox again, you will now see, run this in Firefox, come on, why is it not displaying this content here? It's a paragraph, this is a paragraph, save, run. There you go. So once I saved it, it has come. It was able to execute it easily. So now what it does is between paras, automatically it puts a line break. Okay. If you see this, there is a separation between these two. Okay. It is not a manual line break, but there is a separation between 2 paras. If I need to use breaks after every specific sentence, then I have to go about using the BR statements. Okay, that way you are completing it in the way you want. Okay, so how many breaks you want and so on, you display. What para does is it distributes your content into different sections. we could then further play around with the para, which we'll come to a little later, of how you could align them, how you could use different classes and so on. So now save it again and let's run this. Oops, program to run, launch in Firefox. There you go. So wherever you want your breaks, you could specifically put them inside a paragraph. Okay, so you could use paras to be able to distribute the p tag to be able to distribute content. The other thing, if you notice, is that the tags are not case sensitive, in the sense that if I use a capital P or a small p, it doesn't matter in HTML. But once you go to something a little bit more extended, like things like extensible markup language or XHTML, in that it becomes a little bit more tricky. So as a standard, it is better to treat or start using all your tags as the smaller cases. Okay. Now, once you start creating your paras, now let's start playing around with the content. You got the idea, right? So I'm in fact not going to use all of this way. I'll say this is something better. This is my first para with second para with text. Not a great set of text. But how about links? Okay, so I'm saying I'm starting to write something that I feel that I could display, and I know that I want to give breaks, right? So I want to give links. The links to what? Let's say I want to give a link to google.com. What do I mean? If a visitor clicks on google.com, they should be able to go to this para. Sorry, to the google.com website. How will I do that? Before that, let me do the third para. This is my third para with, let's say in this case, we will use images. Okay. How about showing different images? Show a few images here. Okay. What images? Let's say a few from eLearn.com. eLearn.com logo and a few other images. Okay. That is what we want to display in here. Now, to display this, what we can do, hello, I am, okay, let's change this title also. Links and images. Okay, that is what I'll call this as. A bit more interesting. Why am I doing all this? So that I could, sorry, quick second please, let me finish this and then I'll show you why. This is the first yeah, the reason I'm doing this is so that we have a better looking web page. At the end of the day, it is not just what you display on your web pages that are important. It is also how you display them that becomes very important. Do you see this? Now it is getting to be a little bit more organized, not better. Now, the first thing I wanted to show is, hey, someone wants to click on google.com and go to this, click here and be able to go to google.com. How do I do this? To do this, you need to create something called as anchor text or anchor links. Okay. You need to be able to put a hyper reference to that website. In the sense, number one, every website has a specific URL or a link to it. You must get that link where you want that link to point to. Okay. So that is the first thing you need to do. So the link should point to this URL, right? That is your URL where it needs to be pointed to. Okay. What you need to do is follow this tag. A href equals this link. Close the tag and then close the tag to where you want it getting displayed. Now, what do I have here? I have introduced a new tag called A, which is basically called as an anchor tag, A for anchor, and say href equals in quotes the URL, close the quotes and close the tag. This is the starting of your hyperlink tag or your anchor tag. And then what text can the user click on to go to that URL needs to be within those starting and ending anchor tags. So for example, if there is iteLearn.com here and I needed to point to my website, then I should say ahref equals www.iteLearn.com and point close the anchor. That way you say what text belongs into that. Okay, so you close the anchor to where you want that link to be shown. Now save it and run it. Okay, do you now see this being displayed in different colors? And it has also underline within it. That is how links are getting displayed. That is how you specify where they should point to. What can the user click on to point to go to a specific website is to be within those A tags or the anchor tags. What URL it needs to go has to be specified within the href. These are one of the properties for that specific anchor tag. Some of the tags are as is, they have a closing and ending. Other tags you can specify properties, like href is a property. We will come to a lot more properties as we go further. Now let's click on iteLearn.com. Now it tries to go to /iteLearn HTML practice /www.iteLearn.com and so on. What is happening here? Why is it going here and not to the website iteLearn.com? And why does it say file not found? The reason being that I need to specify that this is there in the HTTP hypertext transfer protocol, in the sense this is there in an external server somewhere. If I'm saying file, it is referring to my local drive. If I'm saying HTTP, then it is referring to the global internet world, and you need to access the web page there. So for example, if I click on google.com, then now it goes correctly to this website. So to correct our code, you need to use http://www.iteLearn.com. Now it will point to that website. Does it have to be only iteLearn.com? No, you can put anything in there. Another way to link to a website. And let's say that you want to refer to a href equals http://w3schools.com. Okay, a good source for tutorials and reference guide for more to do with HTML that I call you. Okay, HTML tutorial. Okay, so you could use this to point to any address and give any text that you want. Remember to give your starting and ending HTML tags. Otherwise, it will get garbled. Okay. Now, where is this coming up? This is not showing. Why is this not showing? Not showing because I didn't save it. And sometimes when not saving it, it is not displaying it. And let's say you want to display a breakout here. Okay. So that it goes into the next line. And let's run it again. And here you go. HTML tutorial. Welcome. See this, you're getting it a little bit more structured. Now this is pointing to that specific website. If you look at the browser, the bottom left corner out here, it will show you the URL that this link is pointing, and the URL that this link is pointing, and the URL that this link is pointing. Always test your code. Once you create something, try and test your code and see that it is getting displayed correctly. What you've done is created HTML links to different places in your on the internet. If you miss any of the tags, what happens is there are high chances that things will get garbled. So it knows that you will start pointing it to w3schools.com from the beginning of this place. But if I don't use ending A, it will go on doing it till where it thinks it is necessary. So almost till the beginning of the next hyperlink, it continued to use this as a hyperlink. So all this text out here till here is thinking it is a hyperlink. Why? Because I didn't close the anchor tag. So the closing of these tags and all the very important. Now so if you do this, you would see how your code will change accordingly. Okay, now I wanted to display images. Images is again similar thing. So let's go to, let's say, iteLearn.com. All right, and let's say that I want to display something from a website. Let's say I want to display some of these icons or images from here. So for images also you need a few things. You need to know where is that image located. Okay, the source of that image is important. So if I right click here and you look at copy image location or copy link image location, you would have received that image location out here. So this whole thing is pointing to where in my website is this image stored. So under iteLearn.com there are subfolders, a lot of folders, and then there is this image which is a .png file. It is the type of image. Now I could say that this is an image that I want to display on my website. To display images, what you do is we have img, that is your tag, HTML tag. Source equals this link. Okay. Now to display images, what you do is show this as an image, and then you can close the image if you want to, or leave it as is. Either way is fine. Let's leave it as is and see first how it works. Save and run. Now you see my entire image from my website being displayed somewhere else, because every time the browser tries to load this HTML page, it has to get the image, download it from this location onto your local machine and display it here. Okay, so the source is where it is pointing to. Okay, now you could end the HTML tag also, because some tags don't need to have ends, but you could do it. Either way is fine. Okay, so I have used the end to image. Now, hey, how about if I click on this, can it go to that specific web page? So for example, when I click on it, it is going to this web page. So very simple. First thing is you need a anchor tag, right? Second thing is, where should this point to? This should point to this URL. So I'm going to click on it, get this URL, paste it here, close the quotes, close the tag. Now what should I click on so that I can go to that URL? This image. So now after that image I can close the anchor tag. So now what will happen is, you will see that this image is now going to point to that specific web page, and it will take me to that web page. Do you see how slowly we're going about constructing different things? I have created a heading. I've created 3 different paras, one just with links, the third one with images, and that image is also pointing to somewhere and so on. You could continue to play around in this fashion and create a lot of new things. Okay. For example, what else did I want to show? Okay. Bold, italic, horizontal rulers. Okay. So I want to highlight some of the text. So let's say, welcome to this HTML tutorials is something that I wish to highlight on my page. Make it a little bit more bold or catchy. What I could do is use a simple tag called B, okay, and say that this portion of my website or what I display in here will be bold, displayed as bold on the browser. So you see, welcome to the HTML tutorials is the only one that is displayed as bold. How about saying, so this, let's put a break here, and this is, let's say D. I want to put an italics around it, in the sense, so you put I for the italics and you run this on your new browser. You will see that specific word or whatever you select giving it a different meaning. You may want to underline some specific section. So use U for underline of this section, and again display the code and see what it will show you. So that is underlined. It is not a hyperlink. It is not pointing to anywhere, but your text is getting edited. You are able to use bold or strong, or you are able to put italicized characters out of it, or you are able to put a underline to a specific word. Okay, so you could do a lot of playing around with this. Then there is something called as a horizontal rule. This is nothing but just adds a simple horizontal line onto a web page. So you want to differentiate different content that you have on the web page into different sections. Okay, so you put different HR or horizontal rule, that is called, or line to it, and then you will see that being displayed in different sections. All right. You could also do something called as comments. Comments are something that you want to see, but not not displayed on the browser on the visual side. Okay, this is just a comment, will not show up on the browser display. All right, so anything that you want to have as comments, you can put it in there. You see automatically the color also changing on Notepad++. It has become green. You start it with a symbol, give an exclamation mark, 2 hyphens, end it with 2 hyphens, and a greater than symbol. All right, save it and look at what it will show. It will not show any change on the website. Only thing is you right click and you say view page source. At that point you will see it in the code. Okay, what you did so far is how it is being displayed right now here. All right, so that is what I wanted to show you for this session of HTML tutorials. We'll do much more as we go forward, but the intent is to get you a quick overview. Okay, so all I want you to do is take a notepad or a text or a notebook physically, and start noting down a few of these tags and so on. Come around, play with it. I also want you to be able to go to different websites, okay, and right click on every website that you go and say view page source. See how the HTML code looks. If you see where we are and where all these things are taking us, you'll see there's a lot of difference. There's a lot of things that can be done. But again, that's the whole world of web development. But you will start seeing that, hey, you know what? I now recognize A. Hey, I recognize H2. It is something with heading. I recognize body. I want you to be able to recognize some of them and just start playing around with it. At least see what it is doing. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for this session. We'll see you back in the next one. And till then, thank you. Bye for now.